Thank you very much. Connor Everts for the Desal Response Group, Southern California Watershed Alliance, Environmental Justice Coalition for Water, and the statewide Environmental Water Caucus. Nice to be back here in person. I think the last time was in Half Moon Bay, November 2019, when you actually voted down the Ocean View Plaza Desal proposal after a long discussion. And I mean, all these things have gone on for years, which I guess is really my point. I've been working on the issue since 1989. We've only built a couple plants, and the two that are proposed, both Poseidon and the South Coast Water Agency, are not needed. The state is still not required mandatory conservation. We're still in a voluntary status. An expensive, unneeded, and impactful source of water makes less sense now than the push we're having from Metropolitan Water District and others for local water programs. And we're being successful with those. So many places like the city of Los Angeles, the city of Long Beach, and others had grant money, decided not to use it and might maximize their local resources as they did here in Ventura. I actually lived in Ojai and was on the water board, but just before that I worked for Patagonia. They've had two proposals for desalination, one about 30 years ago, I hate to say, the other one recently, and they turned it down both times. We did have a discussion with Scott Maloney here and others in the midst of a very dry time in Ventura County, and they decided not to do it as well. There's a reason why projects don't get built after 30 years when they're not needed. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
I'm Mandy Sackett with the Surfrider Foundation. Poseidon Water would have you believe that their proposed desalination project in Huntington Beach that's slated for the Commission's May agenda is the saving grace to Southern California's water supply needs. The reality is that the nearly $2 billion boondoggle would only equal about 8% of Orange County's water, and it comes in at least 4 times the cost. Poseidon would also have you believe that their size, design, and location that they propose are the best option, that their enormous plant at 50 million gallons per day would be beneficial as an economy of scale. However, if you compare Poseidon's design to the proposed Doheny desal plant, Poseidon's plant would be 10 times the production size, but 50 times the impact to marine life. The size also requires an enormous amount of energy that will lock us into the status quo and reliance on existing carbon polluting infrastructure. Orange County is fortunate to have an enormous groundwater aquifer. Desalination might be needed at some point in California, but this is not the location or the time. Approval of this project really is unconscionable because less environmentally damaging alternatives exist. The no project alternative is feasible, outdoor water conservation is feasible, a smaller size is feasible, alternative sites that would allow for subsurface intakes are feasible, smaller intake screen size is feasible. Metropolitan Water District's Carson Recycled Water Project is also a feasible alternative. It will provide 168,000 acre-feet of water for Southern California, and that includes Orange County. City of Los Angeles Operation Next Recycled Water Project at the Hyperion facility will expand their annual supply by 243,000 acre-feet, while also decreasing discharge of pollution to coastal waters. Last sentence here, the bottom line is that Poseidon's project is not needed. The additional water supplies in Orange County is relatively small and less damaging alternatives exist. Thank you.
Thank you, Record.
Good morning. I'm Craig Cadwallader, and I'm speaking on behalf of Surfrider South Bay. I want to discuss the Poseidon desalination proposal that the Commission will address next month. West Basin Municipal Water District in LA County recently confirmed reliable alternatives and abandoned their 2 decades-long development of a desal project similar to Poseidon's. Circumstances in Orange County are similar. Since Poseidon first proposed their project, demand for water has remained flat and new supplies have been added. Orange County Water District, for example, is developing 130 million gallons a day of recycled wastewater for potable use. Conservation and efficiency programs have kept demand stable despite population and economic growth over the past 2 decades. Feasible alternatives ensure future water reliability. LA County Sanitation and Metropolitan Water District are developing a wastewater potable reuse project to produce 160 million gallons a day and have offered 60 million gallons a day to Orange County. Adopting an LA County style safe clean water program would capture stormwater and recharge groundwater. Employing such feasible alternatives in Orange County would eliminate marine life mortality from the Poseidon project and improve coastal water quality for less money, according to MWDOC documents. Coastal Act Section 3233 mandates that you deny a permit when preferred alternatives are feasible. Alternatives that help restore coastal water quality and help restore marine life populations meet the objectives of sections 3230 and 3231. You must deny the permit if feasible alternatives that help restore coastal water quality and marine life populations exist. No amount of mitigation will satisfy this mandate. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Alejandro. I'm OC Hub Coordinator for the Sunrise Movement, a resident of Orange County, and I went to UCSB class of 2019. So I've spent most of my life on the coast, so the ocean's very important to me. Today, I wanted to talk about the proposed Poseidon desalination plant in Huntington Beach. This plant is Orange County's most infamous waster of money and resources. They want to produce water we don't need for their private profit by increasing our rates and harming our environment. We currently have enough water in our aquifers to provide for the county, so why would we even consider approving this project? Not to mention that Poseidon stands in complete opposition to everything that the Coastal Commission stands for. So pulled from your website, the Commission is committed to protecting and enhancing California's coasts and oceans for present and future generations. It does so through careful planning and regulation of environmentally sustainable development, rigorous use of science, strong public participation, education, and effective intergovernmental coordination. So today I ask you to protect and enhance our coast by keeping this virulent polluter away from us. Do this not just for present generations, but also for future ones who already have to face the reality of a life of increased climate catastrophe. We do not need this plant making it worse for us, and we certainly do not want to have to pay to decommission it in 50 years. Please regulate environmentally sustainable development for us by not approving a plant that is the antithesis of environmental sustainability. Do these things in the name of science, with support from the public who has time and time again shown up to oppose the plant. And through our collective education and coordination, may we look towards real solutions that will bring about a brighter future for us all. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ellis Walton, and I'm a legal fellow with Desal, an environmental justice organization, and a third-year law student at Howard University. I have a few words to say about the Huntington Beach desalination facility proposed by Brookfield Poseidon. The moment urban water infrastructure is lifted from its purpose of serving the public good and inserted into the world of financialization, the search for value and profits takes center stage, and the human right to water is severely degraded. The proposal from Brookfield Poseidon is a maladaptive solution searching for a problem. Considering the lack of transparency in planning this project and complete lack of meaningful engagement with vulnerable populations and over 20 years of effort, this outcome was inevitable. The project relies upon a 10-year-old environmental impact report that in 2022 is stale in its findings. Failing a renewed environmental review, this project cannot meet SECA's procedural or substantive requirements. This should be a major concern for the Commission. Instead of delivering clean and affordable water to the people, this project would make water severely less affordable for disadvantaged households in Orange County and release toxic chemicals into the air we breathe and the water we love, use, and enjoy. If this project is approved, it has the potential to increase the billion-dollar water debt currently weighing down California residents, pollute the neighboring wetlands, and the shore that the California economy relies on, as well as exacerbating the climate crisis our society is currently embroiled in. No project that produces huge amounts of greenhouse gases, pollutes the environment, and overburdens households with higher costs and pollutants should be approved by this Commission. Instead of funding this project, public resources should be diverted into sustainable solutions such as water recycling, conservation, and brownfield remediation, which would create thousands more jobs than a single desalination plant ever could. The human right to water cannot be realized from this project, and environmental justice communities will not be served by it. So I respectfully ask that in May, you deny Poseidon's application for coastal development permits. Thank you.
Good morning, the relatives calling from the unceded territory of the Tongva people, Sagna, known infamously as Venice. You know, I was going to speak yesterday about water, but today I'm speaking about water, or the day before, I should say. Water is life. Water is a human right. Water has a memory within itself. And if it could speak, what would it say about us humans? Are we deserving, every single one of us, of quenching our thirst with water, the medicine? The only power that water has is its life-giving, and it bends and flexes and freezes and boils. It does so many things for us, and we can't live without it. But there are people who want to profit, commodify it, and even have government entities subsidize water for lower income people. I've heard some really absurd things about this Poseidon project. And the most bizarre and the most absurd is not to have had tribal consultation and consent. And getting back full circle for everything that we're trying to fix now in conversation in a 2-minute public comment or driving to Ventura as I was supposed to this morning. I'm sorry that I didn't. I'm going to say that the most absurd thing is that we're missing the point, that we need water. We need to fix and heal and mend the water we have now. We need to solve for the forever chemicals and all the other hormone disruptors and everything that we're doing to water. And maybe, just maybe, water will forgive us, just maybe, and heal itself. We have a process that we can be better relatives to water, and water will help and sustain every single living thing and every single thing that needs water, including the rocks, the stones that need to move down rivers and waterways and in the ocean. So we need to say no to Poseidon. We need to say no to their plans of commodification for profit. We need to say
Thank you,
yes.
Ms.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great, thank you. Good morning, commissioners. Nancy Okada, and I'd like to talk about the Poseidon adventure in Huntington Beach. The similarities to Poseidon's modus operandi for the San Diego misadventure to the Huntington Beach proposal is alarming. The priority of proving the need for either proposal has not been established. We now know the real cost of the water and Poseidon's poor track record on its false promises to mitigate a small portion of their full impact. So let's focus on the mitigation of what is presently occurring at the Carlsbad plant. That's Carlsbad, not yet the Huntington Beach one. In 2018 alone, Poseidon was cited on 5 different occasions for violating their wastewater discharge permit by the San Diego Regional Water Quality Control Board. The negative ocean impacts of the plant mount as the brine residue is flushed from the Carlsbad plant. Meeting a production goal of 50,000 gallons of potable water daily requires an intake of 100,000 gallons of potable water, ocean water on a daily basis, with a byproduct of the remaining brine being diluted and flushed to the outfall pipes, always in the same locations. The question at present is how much brine over what timeline can the ocean and marine life sustain? A corresponding defect is the entrainment of sea life in the pumps, which I'm sure you realize, with a pronounced focus on fish eggs and tiny fish larvae, with a potential loss of a multi-populations of fish species. The benthic or bottom zone of animals such as clams, worms, oysters, crustaceans, and mussels are some of the creatures and ecosystems that are subject to the threat of egg losses and the species collapse by the powerful inlet pumps and the supersaturated brine discharge. Thank you for considering my comment.